how to grow your first 1,000 followers on Instagram.
I used my content to serve that community, and then by serving that community, I attracted more like-minded people.
I started to get a bit of momentum from the algorithm. It knew that I was an active user, started pushing my content a little bit more as well, and I actually see a big uptick in my growth then.
The biggest thing that helped me when I was first starting, I don't really do this as much anymore, but when I was first starting this account, I would...
We are glad to be joined by Talk to May and Grow with Alan to discuss a topic that everybody wants to know about: how to grow your first 1,000 followers on Instagram. And that does not limit if you already have 1,000 followers. The information we will share today won't affect you. You can still take a lot of these strategies and tips, even if you have 5,000 followers, 10,000, or 100,000. The strategies that we're going to share focus on just growth, just in general. But we want to make sure that we're talking to a lot of people that might be struggling a little bit in their early stages on Instagram. So we're going to lead into that question right now. Which strategy would you recommend when asked how to get your first 1,000 followers on Instagram?
I have a little bit of a different take on this than a lot of people. When I started on Instagram, I immediately felt like content alone wouldn't be enough. Because when I started, it was before Reels came up. And I thought, I need people that already know my credibility or have some sort of connection with me to follow me first, to give me that boost of engagement, to give me that boost of real community building, because we have something in common right away, right? So what I did was I became known in my town, in the small business community, while I was growing my Instagram page, actually even before I was growing my Instagram page. And then when I grew my Instagram page, I just kept pushing and pushing more inside my community to become more and more known. And that gave me my initial community with people around my town, with people that knew me by my name and knew me in person. And then I just kept growing and expanding in, like, within my town, and then after within my country. When Reels started, I used my content to serve that community, and then by serving that community, I attracted more like-minded people. So I already knew who I was speaking to, because I knew those people like personally when I started. So for me, my beginning was very easy, actually. I really recommend this connection strategy to everybody. If you can, get to know people and attract a certain type of audience initially that already knows you, that already has something in common to you, because growing gets so much easier.
You kind of went the local route. And on social media, we don't even think about that aspect. We're so focused on reaching this person in this country, this person in, in this city. You went a different route that I don't hear a lot of people actually even consider.
Something that I actually just posted, that I made a reel last Friday, I believe, about 10 steps to get 10,000 followers, and ultimately explain that every growth step milestone is really done the same way, just at different scales. That is one thing I said of growing, focusing about networking on and off of social media, right? Like if you are able to have a connection with somebody in person and they're able to refer your expertise, your profile to the people they know, that builds trust so much faster, and they're more likely to want to engage with your content because they were referred to see you, and they already know you a little bit through that person. It just definitely can be beneficial and speed up everything in the long run if you do that, and continue to do that as you continue to grow.
What was interesting about May's one is she was very much about the core followers, and I think it's something we need to build first, because your core followers are the one who's going to help you grow over time. So it's very important for the first thing you need to do is to work out who your ideal client is, who you're going to be talking to, who your target audience is. You need to be attracting the right followers in. That's the first sort of step, I would say. But certainly as a strategy just for going forward and for full-on just growth, I would say the best thing you can do is actually be consistent. When I started, I did a 90-day sprint where I posted every day for 90 days. And I knew that was going to pay me back in some capacity, one way or another. Although the growth for the first sort of 30 days was pretty minimal, sort of only got up to about 500 followers, Once I got sort of 60, 70 days in, I started to get a bit of momentum from the algorithm. It knew that I was an active user. It started pushing my content a little bit more as well. And I actually see a big uptick in my growth then. So certainly if you want to just go for full-on growth, make sure you're optimized for the right people and the content is backing up what you say you're going to do and what your people can expect from you. But also just be consistent with it. If you're consistently putting out content, high quality content all the time, and just going with a really consistent basis day after day after day after day, that's one way you can do it, which will pay you back in dividends in the long run.
Really interesting challenge right there. 90 days. If anything, as you said, you put it well, you're going to get back something from it. And even if that person did a challenge like that and you didn't get any followers, which is very doubtful, you're going to get back so much experience alone trying to figure out exactly who your content is catered for and different practices and strategies to either continue doing or maybe something you should probably leave behind because it didn't work out well. So that's a really great challenge.
What Alan said, that's actually something that's really important where people, when you first start your account, like if you can show up as much as you can consistently for an extended time period, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's going to help you so much. That's what I did when I first started this Instagram from my old Instagram. My old Instagram, I had like 140,000 or so followers there. It was a different niche, and I decided to start fresh to create this account. When I did, I showed up consistently for about 60 days every day. And some of those days I was even posting, in the morning and in the afternoon. And that seems so overwhelming. And you know what? Sometimes it was. But I would say, in order to have that sustainable, knowing that it was only going to be that X amount of time helped me continue to push through. It was kind of like a fun challenge. And also understanding that the whole battle of quality versus quantity when it comes to posting, you're going to get quality by quantity, by showing up more. The more you post, the better it's going to get. So don't let that perfectionism hold you back and allow yourself give yourself the grace to learn and continue to get better as you post. So that's a fantastic strategy and tip there. I would also add, for me, the biggest thing that helped me when I was first starting, I don't really do this as much anymore, but when I was first starting this account, I would go in and find the leaders in my niche that I thoroughly loved their content. I mean, it's not just any leader who has a lot of followers, it's people you really enjoy their content within your niche. And I would turn on their notifications whenever they posted, if I was able to at that time. If not, then I would do it later and catch up. But I would make sure, every day, every couple of days, to go in and actually engage with their content in their comment section and in their DMs, responding to their stories, just building those relationships and becoming recognizable in the comment section. And also by, training the algorithm to understand I'm interested in that content. And then I want those people, their audience members, to see me and have that consistent connection to build out the way that Instagram shows your content to people. So that's huge. If you're just starting, make sure that not only are you engaging with people within your niche, but you're doing it consistently and you're doing it with the people that you actually enjoy, because it's going to be way more organic when you are leaving those comments and it actually is felt from the people who are reading it and the person who is actually receiving the comment.
You want to leave genuine messages, whether it's on the comments or in the DMs. And you do build a great relationship. That's awesome. I'm going to double up a little bit. That might actually include all of your strategies. And that's the idea of mixing up your content. I've seen it. I've even practiced it myself wrongfully. I'm being honest. Posting just one type of content, whether you only post reels, whether you only post carousels, whether you only post single images. I would suggest, especially in the beginning stages, try to mix it up. Diversify your content offerings. Try them all. Figure out a schedule that you could probably do one or two of each every week. Diversify your content, and then later, maybe it's after 30 days, maybe you're doing 90 days like Alan. Figure out which ones really gravitated to the audience that you are trying to target. See which ones got the most engagement, got the most reach. Double down on those. And maybe there's a few other type of content formats that didn't hit as well as you wanted to. You can either drop those or figure out ways to improve it in a better way that your audience might like it. I think that diversifying your content and even trying other things outside of those that are on the feed, whether it's an IG Live, IG Stories as well. There's so many different content formats on Instagram. Try them all, but I wouldn't say do them all ultimately at the end. Figure out which ones your audience wants, which ones you are happy creating. If you don't like reels, don't let your audience dictate the fact that you should create reels, because you're not going to like it and you're going to absolutely hate doing it. And then you're not going to be as consistent with your content offering. So I would say diversify your content and see what sticks and lands. I think you shared a lot of great tips in regards to how to reach your first 1,000 followers. And like I said at the beginning, these strategies and tips that we shared, they're not only applied to just reach your first 1,000. You can do this whether you're reaching 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. These tips are, I like to consider them evergreen. They will always work. They're not hacks. These are tried and true strategies and tips that's going to work for you guys. And I hope that you guys, like I said, were taking notes, because they're going to work out for you. I would love to see what you guys come up with at the end of this. I hope that you guys appreciate that conversation about how to grow your first 1,000 followers. Take the advice from myself, May, Megan, and Alan. And like I always say, step your gram up. I'd love to share more about the Social Roundtable with you. If you have a moment, check out the playlist that's on the screen. It's featuring more episodes from the Social Roundtable all about Instagram growth, the latest new features, and strategic ways to build on your engagement, and so much more. You're not going to miss it, so make sure you check it out, and I'll see you there.